So what shoes am I training in for my sub-3 marathon? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my shoe rotation as I continue to run more than 50 miles or 80k plus weeks. And one of the shoes I think is going to surprise you. So let's roll the intro and get stuck right into it. So you join me in the garden, kind of a little bit It's on Andy vibes, if you know you know, for this discussion of my shoe rotation. So firstly, we've got a box. There's an unboxing going to happen. It's probably not as exciting as it looks, but we have got one to do nonetheless. Some more on that shortly. But I want to get straight into it. So just a little bit about me. I'm a fairly light on my feet runner, about sort of 60 odd kgs. I've been running since 2010, and to be honest, for a lot of the time I have been reaching for versions of this shoe. So my daily shoe, my daily trainer, is the New Balance 860 V14. I've had versions of this shoe going back years and years and years, almost since I started running. And the reason I gravitate to this shoe is because I overpronate. I don't know if any of you watched the recent video I did where I was in the physio and I was having a bit of a test on the treadmill, and you could see my flicky out right leg. Now, I spoke to the physio about it and he confirmed it's tibia torsion. My knee is pointing not directly ahead, it's pointing to the side, which means I need to do that overpronation to effectively land my foot where it needs to land. So I need a bit of extra support than some runners, but it hasn't stopped me running fast. And yeah, I don't need to correct it, is the advice from the physio. So having a bit of stability is important to me, and these shoes provide it. In the past, they've had a medial post to provide that stability, but now they're actually using a plate underneath. It's not carbon plated or anything, but it's just actually to provide that stability. So I really like these shoes. I've got another pair here which I normally use for my recovery days. These are a bit older, so they're going to be retired soon, but yeah, these are the V12s, I believe. But the V14s, they've just got a bit more bounce to them, a bit more cushion, because it's quite a firm ride that you get in these New Balance 860s. And the V14s, they just have a little bit more about them. They translate a little bit better into some of the faster paces, maybe on a long run. But yeah, my daily trainer, New Balance 860 V14. What is your favourite running shoe? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments below. Now, let's talk about speed. And there's no better place to start than the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s. The 5s are out now, but I'm still rocking the 3s, and I really love these shoes. They've got a nylon plate rather than a carbon plate, but it does give you that little bit of extra spring. So whenever I'm looking to just pick up the pace a bit, whether it's kind of tempos, intervals, even going on the track or long runs, I reach for this shoe because it just gives me that bit of extra bounce and really propulsion as I'm trying to pick up the pace. It's not the most stable shoe, but actually if you do need a little bit of support, I would say this has more of it than some other on the faster type shoes. I know a lot of people are raving about the Adidas Evo SL, but for me that sounds like it just doesn't have quite enough stability to go for it. This has got, you know, a decent sized base. I put a different insole into this to kind of add a bit more stability in it, but yeah, it works. It's fast, it's comfortable, and I do agree with others when they say, you know, Endorphin Speed 5 out now, talking about it's still a great all-rounder. While I focus on wearing these for my faster days, my speed and tempo sessions, it does still have the ability to, you know, run as a daily trainer if you need to, and certainly, as I did in last week's video, use it in the long run. So talking of the long run, I've already mentioned them, but my go-tos, if I'm just taking it easy or steady, generally this New Balance 860 V14. If I'm looking to pick up the pace, I'm going to reach for the Endorphin Speed 3s. It's not something I've tended to do long runs in. I've kept them for my kind of interval sessions, track sessions, that type of thing. But increasingly, I'm going to start using these for my long runs. Just a word on mileage before I move on to other shoes. I'm just having a look on my Strava now, trusty Strava, and these shoes, so far, I have run 350 miles in. This older version, the V12, I have run 650 miles in these. I am going to retire them soon, but given I'm a runner that is pretty light on my feet, look at the tread on this. It's not bad. It is not bad. Yeah, it's worn away a little bit on the hill, but I'm still getting something from it, so I think they've got incredible durability. And on that note, Endorphin Speed 3s, where am I at? 450 miles in these. Now, I know many people have to retire them much sooner. Again, look at the tread. Do I still feel like I'm getting something from them? Yeah, I think they're good. I'm gonna stick with them until otherwise. But on that note, let's do a quick unboxing, shall we? On the Saucony train. What have we got here? You guessed it, we've got the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s. Again, a fresh pair. Now I bought 2 pairs of these back in March 2024, and I got them for just over £100 each after obviously the Endorphin Speed 4s came out, and I got on so well with my Speed 3s I thought, yeah, I'll just get them now. Obviously the colourway isn't going to be the best in terms of keeping clean, but they look pretty fresh right now. And yeah, I'm going to be going for a run in these tomorrow at the time of recording, so I'll report on how much difference I feel they make compared to my old Speed 3s, and see if I really do need to start wearing these more often, because the mileage is getting up in the old Speed 3s and I want to make sure that I'm still feeling fast and getting the most out of my speed days with this shoe. Now there's a rather unusual shoe in this rotation, but we'll get to that in a bit. I want to talk about trail shoes quickly, because I don't wear them all that often, but I have got a few pairs and they do come in handy. So this one is the Innovate Park Claw G280, and it's a road to trail shoe. You've probably seen, if you've watched any of my videos, that I do a lot of trail running on mainly kind of pretty buffed out trails that are very runnable, and this shoe is perfect for that, particularly in the winter, because it takes me from road to trail with ease. It's a fairly minimalist shoe, so it doesn't give me, you know, the same support that I get from a New Balance pair for my dailies, but it's good to wear different types of shoes, and this one I find really comfortable and effective whether I'm running on road or trail, although of course it prefers the trail. You can have a little look at the tread. They've got some decent lugs on there, but yeah, nothing spectacular, and apologies for the mud, but that's what it's for, right? 2 more trail shoes just to share. So we've got another Innovate, the Rocklite 305. These ones are a bit more minimal, just for those very kind of light trails, great for roads as well, but don't have quite the same level of comfort as the Park Claw. So yeah, really, if I'm expecting mainly to be on trails, but it's going to be very kind of low level, these are the ones I go for. And then when it's a serious muddy affair, probably less likely right now, not going to be a shoe that I'm going to be reaching for in this particular training block, but the Innovate X Talon, I am a fan of this. It's got some really healthy amount of tread, so on the muddier days this is the shoe that I go for. It's super lightweight, it feels pretty racy, it's pretty minimal, but you don't really need a whole lot of support if you're going to be running on mud. Okay though, let's get back to reality, because those trail shoes, they're not really going to be seen that often. So I'm going to finish with my race day shoes, but before we get there, I did promise you a bit of a road choice, so here it is, if this counts. It is the Nike, I don't know what we should call it, Metcon. Now, it's not a road running shoe, I admit that. It's a gym shoe, and I wear this when I'm doing my PT with Georgie twice a week, and these shoes are fantastic. Also absolutely love the colourway. As you can see, like no real grip on the bottom, pretty flat but supportive. But I am using these for running because I'm doing very short runs. We're talking sort of 1 mile, a couple of kilometers at most, to the gym, back from the gym. And I've decided, instead of taking 2 pairs of shoes to the gym or getting Georgie to take a pair, I'm just going to run in these. And the reason I'm going to run in these is for the same reason I was talking about those trail shoes before, is because actually it's good to be running in different pairs with different levels of support. These are much more minimal. I can really feel my feet on the ground when I'm using these, but because it's such a short distance, it's fine. It's just going to feel a bit different. I'm using different muscles, and the more you can change the different shoes that you're running in, it's just really helpful to do that. So I don't get a whole lot of mileage out of these. It's very small doses as well, but this is the unlikely addition to my running shoe rotation. The Nike Metcon, the gym shoes that have become very minimal running shoes. So it's time to talk about race shoes. The one that you would have seen most on this channel, if any of you already hit that subscribe button, please do join. We're training towards the Abingdon Marathon in October, and every week I'm doing a video on my training and how I'm getting on. So yeah, you will see more of these, but it's the Nike Alpha Fly ones, the OGs, the originals, and I love this shoe. But I don't use it for all out races. I use this for any time I want to pick up the pace in a race, but I'm not targeting it as an A goal. We're going to take a quick look what we're at for these shoes, because it is incredible. Nike Alpha Fly V1 greens. We have done 290 miles in these shoes. Now, I basically retired these from racing after about 100 miles, which is generally what people say is what you can get out of these type of race day shoes. It's got a carbon fiber plate. It's super minimal. The upper is so breathable. It's incredible. But look, these shoes have held up incredibly well. Sorry if the sun is affecting what you can see, but I hope you get the idea. It is pretty spectacular. Now I know these don't necessarily last for everyone, but for me, I am still getting such a good response from these shoes, and I don't hesitate when any time I'm running anything other than an A race to put these on. They've got huge amounts of support, which really help me, given I need that little bit more stability than some, and the propulsion that you get from these shoes is just incredible. So any B race, these are the ones for me. And yeah, maybe I will be doing a few tempos and maybe long runs in them if I want to replicate that kind of race day feeling. But I do like to not run in carbon plated shoes all that often, so I really feel the benefits come race day. Talking of races, this is a shoe for racing in. It's another Nike. It's the Nike Vaporfly 2s. I've had this one for a little while now. We're around the 90 mile mark, so 100 miles they say, maybe this is what you can get out of them. So about 160k, something like that. But they're still in pretty good nick. That grip on the outsole is pretty decent. I reckon I might be able to get more out of these, but don't you worry, I have got a fresh pair of these waiting in the wings. But what races do I use these for? It's the shorter distances. So 5k races, 10k races, these are the shoe for me. These are super lightweight compared to the Alpha Flies. They're much lighter, they feel less clunkier, they feel fast, but you just don't get the same level of stability as you do with the Alpha Fly. So that's why I will only really run shorter distances in these. If I'm on the track, you don't need spikes. I haven't got spikes, but you know, then again I will reach for these. But yeah, 5k, 10ks, the Vaporflies are the one. I have run a half marathon in them, and I ran a PB, my 1:23:21 last year, but I did really feel it in my kind of glutes the next day. and that was probably partly a kind of strength issue, but also the shoes just not giving me quite that same level of support and stability. So yeah, from now on, 5k and 10k, these guys. And now the marathon, the sub-3 marathon attempt. It is going to be a fresh pair of the Nike Alpha Fly ones. The originals, again, get the green light here because I love them, and I managed to get a pair of these before they went into non-existence and only sold for ridiculous prices on the internet. So I got these for pretty reasonable. I can't think how much it was now, but a while ago, and I've only done 2 runs in them, I think. I will check the mileage on Strava now. I have done 30 miles in these shoes. One of them was the Boston Marathon UK, previous sub-3 attempt, which didn't quite go to plan. If you haven't watched that video yet, check it out. And then one little test run beforehand, and that's it. But spoiler alert, and it's pretty early in the block, but I will be wearing these come Abingdon Marathon in October. I say I love the support. When you start to get tired, these shoes really help you out. So yeah, these are the ones for me. And this is how a brand new, pretty much Alpha Fly should look, certainly in the ones. One day I probably will end up getting the 3s, which apparently are pretty similar, but not just yet. And that is my sub-3 marathon shoe rotation. But before we go, I've got to run through the week and just show you a little bit of footage from what I'm doing in these different shoes. And I will finish off by talking about my first run in these brand new Endorphin Speed 3s. Not 5s, I'm sorry, I'm not with the times, but still smell fresh, even though they were bought more than a year ago, and I am just itching to get going. And seeing how they compare to these very well worn, but still very, very runnable older versions. Hello, we've made it to Sunday, and today I am doing the Ware 10 as part of a long run, or a progression long run. But I'll tell you more about that shortly, and just now I'm going to take you through the week so far. So Monday was a 35-minute recovery run on the hottest day of the year, I think, so far. And then also I returned to my 6-a-side football in the evening, which was very warm as well. Tuesday was 65 minutes easy and some strides. Wednesday was that all-important rest day as usual, with Henry showing us how it's done. Thank you, Henry. Thursday, so I didn't do any speed work on the Tuesday of my club, I went out and did a hill session with them instead. So that was 30 second, 45 second, 60 second hills, a jog down recovery for each, and he did that 6 times in total. I ended up doing about 9.3 miles and a really solid session. I didn't feel any pain in my quad, so that was a real positive. And yeah, I picked up the pace to up to sort of 5:22 a mile up a fairly steep incline. Friday was a recovery run, about 70 minutes, nice and easy. And then I also did another strength session with Georgie, this time focusing on legs. But I had felt a little bit of achiness in my quad, so I was just a bit extra careful this week. And then yesterday, at the time of recording, it was another park run sandwich, so I got a few miles in before. Then Letchworth park run, 80 minutes easy, 5 times 20 seconds stride. And yeah, all ready for today. So the plan for the Ware 10, so 10 miles, 16 kilometers, currently doing a warm-up now, hoping to get about 3 miles, 5k in before, and then maybe a couple of miles, few kilometers afterwards as well. Take myself up somewhere close to 15 miles, 24k. And the plan, I'm just doing a few easy miles to start, get myself warmed up, and then I'm going to do a bit of a progression run for this. So I know there's a hill early doors, so I'm going to take that relatively easy and then kind of pick up from steady into more kind of tempo pace as I go, and just go off feel really. It's 2 laps, so the second time I go up that hill might not be progression, but I'm just going to judge it. No heroics today, but a good effort. And given the nature of this video, I really should have said, but I'm in the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3s today. I tried out my new Speed 3s on Thursday at that hill session, as I mentioned, and they felt fantastic. But these Speed 3s, they've got quite a lot of miles in them, but they still feel pretty bouncy, so they're going to give me a little bit of extra kickback today using that nylon plate, but obviously no carbon plate on this occasion. A big shout out to the local running club in Hertfordshire, Ware joggers, who organised this event. There's also a 10-kilometre option, which is going off 15 minutes after the 10 mile. And yeah, one I've never done before, but apparently a really lovely route along the canal, mainly flat, but as I say, with that hill a couple of times for the 10 milers. Yeah, really looking forward to it. Another opportunity to do some nutrition testing. So I've got my SAS beta fuels, 40 grams of carbs in these. I'm going to try and take 4 during the course of this run, but not long to go now, so I'm just heading back to the start and then we get going. Ware 10 progression run. Let's see how we go. So mile 1, 7:45. Maybe a little bit quick. We'll see. So mile 1, it was a hill, but not too bad. Then steep downhill, and then a little bit of up again. So mile 2 just ticked over on the watch. 7:35, a little bit quicker than planning, but it's hard with these ups and downs. So we got Wimbledon Mania, Women's Euros Mania. Love to see it. 20 minutes in, just had my first gel. Didn't actually get it on camera, but I promise you, it's down. That's mile 3, 7:30 on the dot. 7:25, 40 runs on the run, another 5 seconds quicker, on we go. So halfway, 37:15, so yeah, should come under 1 hour 15 for sure. So 7:17 for mile 5, 3 seconds quick. I think it was all the cheering, but now we've got to drop it down again. So this is the main hill. Always looks flat on camera, but not too bad. So that's 7:10 for mile 6. It was a bit downhill at the end, so I couldn't control my speed, but gotta go quicker now. That's gel 2 down. Managed to open it terribly. Get it all over my hands, so a lot of practice to do. So mile 7, 7:02, 7:03, something like that. My hands are so sticky from that gel. Well done, Callie. Great work, enjoy it. Thanks guys, got you this time. Cheers, Bill. So that's 8 miles, 6:54, 2 to go, and then a little bit extra on the end. Feeling great. That's mile 9, 6:46 I think. 1 to go. Push it a little bit now. Yeah, Tony.
Unbelievable finishing. Well done.
Thank you very much.
It's going great. No point. See you on the dynamic unit. Then it's dynamo next week.
Good little long run.
Sterling from
7:11 average pace, picking it up all the way. 165 average heart rate. Here's Paul. Hello buddy. So just finishing the cool down now. I've been running with Paul for a bit. It's just going to be about 2 miles, so just under 3k, no, just over 3k. And I think the week it's going to be just under 56 miles. So yeah, another really successful week. Really enjoyed that race. Mixed terrain. We got some lovely kind of canal path bits. Got this grassy section at the start and finish. It's a bit stony in places, but yeah, beautiful summer run. I thoroughly recommend it. So thank you to Ware Joggers putting on a great event. And we're just about to see the start of the kids race. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers. So you know it was like sunny weather. But look at it now. I do think one more run is needed. It's a run from the car to the house. Let's do it. Ah! Subscribe for more. See you next week.